Hello, everybody. It has been quite some time since I've been able to return to my abode from the depths. My journey has kept me away for quite some time, and I need to reach out to somebody because something is not right here. Give me just a minute while we go through and fix this. Da-da-da-da. I do apologize while I'm troubleshooting this, but redeems are currently turned off as this is a lore stream. We're just having a fair amount of scuff here at the start. So we will be hopping back into things shortly, as soon as I can get this fixed. Ba, ba, ba. Ba, 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 ba. This should be fixed soon. And then no one will ever know. But while that's going on, let me tell you guys a bit about this server that I'm in. It is an Origins-based mod pack, and we are doing some lore. We all have characters that we've made in it, and there are several arcs that are planned out so far, and I am excited for what we're gonna have, and it looks like things have been fixed. Okay. Well, it has been some time since I've been able to check on my fellow here, and yes, good old Cavern Course. I see that we have had some more copies delivered to us, and the town has been doing quite well in our absence, it seems. I see the stairwell is still being well maintained. But now to check on the other portions. You see how well our Bethel has withstood the test of time of our absence. Because we need to make sure our parishioners have been keeping up with their duties in our absence. Because while the shadows do not intend us harm, that does not mean that no harm will befall to us from their hands. We've almost finished our descent. There we are. Alright. It looks like there has been some encroachment of the shadows, but nothing too severe. And it seems that we are missing the hymnal. I will have to get that replaced. But while we are here, I might as well speak with the shadows. See what words they have for me. And from up there, it does look like a fair amount of work has been done to maintain the ring, to ensure the safety of town. This is good news. Have the shadows begun to gather from this side? It does not appear so. This is good. This is good. We do not need the shadows to begin encroaching on other areas. It is difficult enough to keep it appeased as it is. But we must go out and regather supplies for the time being, as our stores have been quite significantly drained. We are going to need to gather a fair amount of logs, and I do believe that the market was going to be opening up soon, so we must prepare for trade as well. But this also means we might be able to bring some new members into our gatherings. The pathways have been far improved from what they were. The question is, what supplies can we gather? What has the town done with our supplies and make stations in the meantimes of my absence? What do we have upon us up here? Hmm. I see. The market does seem to be... Well, they've at least prepared their stalls for reopening. It does not look like they are currently here to trade. And we'll have to wait until another time. Now let us see what else is going on. Looks like some expansion. Ooh, this is a shop I have not laid my eyes on before. When they are open, we shall have to return and see what wares they have for sale. In the meantime, I should remove myself from the situation of the cold. It does not mix well with me. I do not recall this pathway being here before. That is something we will have to inspect another time. But where my parishioners have gone is another thing which concerns me. I was going to let them know of my return and what we had discovered on our sojourn into the depths. Suppose I should go this ways and see what might be over here. But first, if we are going to go into the markets, I should probably grab some of my books. That way we might spread the word. The waters. Despite all the blessings I have received, the waters still cause me pain. Let us grab our books, that we might see who is in need of our good word. Now, of my fellows, where might they be? Because they do sojourn into areas afar to stock their stores. But where they might be this time, that I am not aware.
Worship one thing or another.
Oh,
It really depends
oh
on
my.
what makes them feel better.
I presume that's
Do my ears deceive me?
okay.
Do I hear the voice of my parishioners?
Okay.
Why, hello there, friend. It has been some
is Kay.
time.
Well, this is
Oh my.
Kay.
You are
Oh,
very, very small.
so
very
small.
tiny.
I
You
I
speak with
may
a
not
voice
be large in stature, but
Mhm.
that does not mean that I do not have tasks which must be carried out.
Here's a pebble. I
Pebble?
just found it and I thought you would like it. I don't know why. Just thought you'd like it.
I appreciate that. Oh, great.
Oh, need
Sir?
water.
What? You need water? Why would
Yes.
you need such burning things?
Well, because I breathe. I breathe water.
You breathe the
Breathe water
waters. What?
For as long as I've lived. Though to be fair, since I got this armor, I've been able to waltz around town like the good old days.
That is quite
It's nice not
unusual.
having to be down there as often.
But I do believe that introductions are in order. As my friend did say, my name is Kay. It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance, sir.
Hello, my name is Term. I'm not
Caterm?
captain anymore, but I don't really have a boat to captain anymore, but I say the title still remains with me.
One need not have a boat to be a captain.
Of course, of course.
And who might these others be that I am unfamiliar with?
I am Zach, a slime.
A slime?
A slime.
I must say that in all my times in the shadows, I have never seen a slime such as yourself. It is
I don't think
amazing.
I've ever seen a slime like myself either.
And who might you be, winged friend?
My name is Kareem.
Well, Kareem and Zach, it is. May I offer salutations and say that it is a most fine day that leads me to meet you today.
Certainly has been a decent day.
Well,
I'd say it's been a
might I
great
offer
day.
something that might improve your viewing of the day.
Oh,
It is some of the finest I have found in my journeys.
oh, it is absolutely beautiful. I haven't had cheese in God knows how long.
The only thing that is missing is a fine wine aged to perfection.
Absolutely. The only thing I have at home is a bit of old rum.
I don't find myself as much of a drinker.
Mm.
Can't exactly fly straight when you're drinking.
Fair, fair.
Well, would that not just merely lead
I
to more adventures upon your aerial travels?
I prefer to have a keen eye.
I'll be honest, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't drunk at the wheel of my ship a couple times.
But at how many
I'm not
knots
going
did
to-
your ship travel?
In the air about 40
More-
feet.
More,
I have a
more
question.
than I could ever count. Maybe one day I can.
I
shoot them
have an
like I showed
answer.
Kareem.
May chance they will
Busted
match.
right through the wall.
What is drunk?
That's a good question.
When one partakes
I
in
don't-
spirits too strong for one's constitution.
Mm-hmm. Changes the way you see things.
It also has a penchant for changing one's outlook upon situations. The last time
Yeah,
I
makes sense.
indulged in spirits a tad too strong, I found myself submerged.
Submerged.
It was a harrowing experience, to say the least.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let us just say that water and I do not tend to get along. Even the snows and the ice in the regions sometimes will cause pains.
Well, that's understandable. I mean, just as I cannot. Seems like they fell asleep. Seems like they've had a long day trying to find their family.
Yes.
It's like much as I can't breathe for too long up here, I'm sure not many of you can breathe for long down there.
Yes.
We're all different and unique, and that's what's beautiful.
If only that were the case. It is not merely a matter of holding one breath. Of that I am quite skilled. It is the mere contact.
Well, I mean, I'm sure there's something that makes you unique, just like all of us. I'd say that you are.
I would say
Very-
that everyone is special. It is merely a matter of finding the ways in which you are.
Absolutely. I'm happy that we have some common ground here.
Common ground is most welcome.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed it is.
After all, well, is there anything that you, it's wonderful to meet you. What was your name again? I don't think I quite caught it.
My name
first
is
time.
Kay. It is the moniker
Okay.
by which I go.
Wonderful. I will make sure to remember that. K should be easy to remember. Also.
I am not certain I will ever get accustomed to the sight of that.
Well,
It causes a rush of not quite fear, but concern within my heart every time I see this happen.
I mean, ever since I got this armor, I've been able to stay on land a fair bit longer, so you're very lucky that I found this, because otherwise I'd just be sitting in there the whole time.
That would make conversation quite difficult to partake in.
I mean, we have the end of the dock. We have a spot where there isn't any railing. So
A
it wouldn't be
dock?
too hard, I assume.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Little
the
piece
You
only-
have
of
a
land
dock?
a little piece of land, man-made land that's built to go above the water, so that way people like me who that can't breathe water you know, walk around as such.
Ah, I see. That is most
I journeyed
fortuitous.
I know I journeyed all over the water back in the day. Simpler times. Simpler times.
Do not reminisce too strongly of your youth. It oftentimes leads us to make foolhardy decisions.
I've
Progress
lived
is
long enough to know
rarely
that.
behind us. We must ever strive to move forward.
I can agree with that. I've spent a long enough, a fair number of years reminiscing of things that I don't think I'll ever get back, and I'm okay with that. I've also realized it's also unfortunate because I don't think there's any. I don't think there's. No, there is. Oh.
Ah,
No.
friend Kareem, I see that you sell the bounty of the sea.
Oh, yes. If you mean by I'm a fisherman, yes.
I may become a frequent purchaser of your supplies for my parishioners.
Well, food is always important.
What things might you like in trade for your goods?
I'm not quite sure. I'm quite content with what I have right now, but I think I might need materials to build because I plan on building term place a fish tank to stay since he can go on land
Oh.
now.
Gives me a bit more means to be able to get some
Hmm.
better rest. I wasn't always I didn't always breathe water, but now I do.
I'm sorry, it's just you're going to build a fish tank to put your companion within.
No,
No,
it's
no,
not
I
really a
already
fish
have
tank.
a fish tank. We could probably just show him. It'd be a whole lot easier.
I assume so.
Come on, follow me. It'd be nice.
If it would not be too much of an intrusion, I do not mean to partake of your time if you have tasks you must do.
I mean,
Well, I
there
don't-
isn't much to do. We have most things taken care of.
mo-
Me
I
too.
usually I've spent a whole lot of time. My
Skeleton!
time is
Ah, wielder of the frozen bones. Unfortunately, he is beyond my reach.
He is dead. Oh, another one! And a zombie.
You alright?
yeah. Just had to get some more water. They're taking a bit longer to get around, but
Oh, your friend has seen some issues,
Stand back.
and this tall man has a arm far longer than my own.
Put this on loan.
there we
Give
go.
him a moment. Zach will be back.
Yeah,
Damn road.
yeah.
Ah, I see that he has been blessed by the cycle of shadows.
That
Both
cycle
you and
your
Pi have talked
your friends
about
were
this
talking about.
cycle. What do you mean?
Been impaled!
The everlasting cycle.
Ever what?
Are you truly unaware of the everlasting cycle of shadows which binds us all? It connects all living things.
Oh, this is what your church is about. Got it.
Oh.
I suppose that is one way to look at it.
Come on then.
See, I have a shrine. I have a shrine myself, but more to the ocean than anything else. The sea is
Oh
The sea does
my
not-
sweet
does not-
mercy. Old man above. How have the shadows not encroached upon you?
What? You
Not
keep
sure what you
talking
mean.
about these shadows. What do you mean by shadows?
The shadows of life itself. The very fabric. It tends to show itself most prominently in metals. And with such an abundance in this area, who is your leader of the rites to satisfy the darkness?
What? Leader? What in the...
If
What are you talking about?
if your metals have been affected as such, but I see no shadows within, who has been partaking of the necessary rites to keep it appeased?
The copper? What are you doing? Stop with that.
I'm trying to see where the connections to the darkness are. This is most
I don't know
unusual.
what you're talking about.
I've lived here for a long, long time. I haven't had any problems.
I step on it every.
Is
once in
this
a while, 'cause
sanctified
I'm
water?
I mean, I'm unsure. I've lived in it my entire life, or
I
at
s-
least as long as I've been here.
I suppose there is but one way to check.
What are you about to do?
What are you...
Hopefully something that does not cause me much pain.
What are you... What?
Oh,
No, it has not been sanctified.
What?
sanctified.
What?
Is I am bewildered at this. I will need to confer the tomes of old about this.
I mean, I don't think I may be old, but I'm not that old.
I must
They-
consult
the
the
on- the
tomes
on-
left by
the
the
only books I think
those
I'm
who
ever as
were
old
of
as
the
are my
previous
waterlogs.
cycle.
And I did help build part of this, but most of the metals were here, and it
Mhm.
looked like this.
I would offer to show you of what I speak, friend Captain and Kareem and Slamified Zack. But I'm not sure you would be able to make the journey in your condition such as it is.
You mean over to that other cave?
If I were to show you
Hmm.
the
Wait a
shadows.
minute.
I
might
think
be
I'll
able
pass
to-
on that.
1 second. So I just had a brain thing. Let me just. Sure, if I just bring some of it with me,
Ah,
shouldn't be too bad.
Uh,
Just bring.
Friend Kareem, if you are not to join us, I would like to leave you a book that tells of what we do with our group.
okay,
Nice.
I'll
This is
Wow, that
this
book
is
got
some
a
of
lot
what we
bigger.
strive to do.
have to look at that.
I do hope that it helps answer any basic questions you have, and by any means, you are more than welcome to reach out to me at any time should you have further curiosities.
Alright, I will think about it.
Well,
No,
I'll
this
make sure to let you know how it goes.
Alright. You two stay safe.
Of course.
I
Oh,
shall
man.
defend
We
them
haven't
with
made it
my
out.
life.
I haven't met something that can kill me yet.
Am I not going?
You are
doing
more than
Well,
welcome to
anyway.
attend.
I'm planning on staying. I
Mhm.
probably keep fishing to keep my stock up.
Oh,
I'll go.
Yeah. It's how I'm going to be able to stay over there.
I
Just a
will
bit of water and I can breathe again.
I will try to keep a fair
Best to
distance
keep a
from you.
distance. I would hate for you to get hurt. Also,
That would be most
definitely
unfortunate.
don't go.
This
that
does
way.
not
That's
seem like
how-
the way to leave this
that's-
fine establishment.
I'll meet you down below.
Where might the safest exit?
Spot.
That-
You'll want to take the
well
spiral, and
then. I cannot take the exit your friend Zach does.
Yes, he does not need. He does not. He does not.
Ah,
need
over
very
by
much
your
to make
medals.
all.
I see.
I bounce.
I just need. I
That
just
you
need
do
someone to let me
indeed,
run.
friend Zach. You bounce quite magnificently.
Mhm. Just gotta stay. Just gotta keep breathing.
I shall finish my way down the spiral to you shortly.
It's it is all well and good. It's not about the destination. It's about the journey.
In most cases, I would say you are correct, old friend Tom. But there are some cases in which the destination is as important as the journey.
Understandable. There we go. I would say we keep on going. I don't know why I'm taking the lead. I'm so used to that.
Well, it certainly is a hallmark of a captain. Were you also the navigator for your journeys, or did you have another who performed such duties?
I did back in the day. They I don't really get to.
There's Kay.
I'm not lucky enough to see them anymore, unfortunately.
Captain,
Oh,
That is
hello.
most disheartening when you
See-
can no longer...
see if that might
See.
work. That should work.
Ooh.
Oh? And what might this fine
Well, I
tincture
haven't
be
seen one
that
of
you
these
have
in
made,
years, so it's
friend?
just-
I made a water breathing potion. Does it work? Can you
Oh
breathe?
my, it's. Oh, that
breathe.
is wonderful.
You can breathe!
Oh, it's just like old times. Today has been a wonderful, wonderful day.
Well, that is most gloriously
Is the
helpful of you,
Is
That's
Fire
true.
Song.
the drunk?
That is
Jeez.
not. It's not that.
I made
it's not
some
that
a
bad.
fresh batch upon returning from my journey to the depths.
Ooh.
All right.
How are the depths?
That is something that we are going to speak of today. But first, I was befuddled by our new friend's metallic structure's lack of connection to the shadow. It
Do you
is
mean the fishy bowl?
it is rather alarming to have such a large structure without a connection.
It's, well, I mean, it's just my home.
That may be all it is to you, O Captain. But that does not mean that that is all that it should be.
Understandable. Understandable. It's also my place of work when I'm not selling my little models,
Oh.
where I do most of my chiseling and painting and such.
Fire, were we taking them to the market or into the Bethel? That they might see the shadowed connection.
You could probably see a little connection to the darkness in the market, but it would be easier to see at the Bethel.
Very well.
The breaking the ankles.
You should be careful of that, friend Fire. You know that while you are not as tall as others, you still are not blessed with the strong ankles that I have been by the shadows.
Ankles
No.
sound inconvenient.
They can be.
At times they
Well,
can
my
be,
ankles
friend
are
Zach.
couple
To be-
of times.
To be fair, it's hard to break ankles when you don't have any.
This is true. Although most that I have seen without ankles tend to have more significant mobility issues.
Not Zach. Zach is
Friend Cat,
quite
I
quite
would
well.
advise not taking the water down. It is not as safe as it might seem, even for one
I
of
wouldn't say
your
that I'd seem either.
nature.
How about?
Are we allowed to take the shiny rocks out of the stone? Okay. Because there's some in...
If you have a use for it, I would not be opposed. I am not certain
take
whether
the
the
shiny
ancients
stones.
left them here as they had no need of them, but in my time examining, I have not found any connection to the shadows from them.
I mean, it's a little dark,
You'd be
but it doesn't
you'd be
seem like
surprised
shadows
what
won't
gems
do
and
it.
what gems and metals can do. My chest plate and my trousers today are one of the few things that let me breathe as long as I can.
How one's pantaloons aid in the breathing, I am not sure, but also I am not certain I'm going to question the knowledge of the ancients.
Understandable.
Never question the knowledge of the
I've only
ancients.
been down this low twice before, I think.
I feel like you were the one that
You-
created the 2 new waterfalls around here.
That might have been me.
Once you reach the bottom, I do advise being careful not to disturb the darkness. It
Oh.
upon calling out, it does if the darkness is so tempered, the guardian will be called upon.
Guardian.
It is not a
Seems like
situation
whatever's out
I
there is-
advise.
Seems like they really are calling out a lot.
This is the darkness which connects and joins all living things.
My ankle.
It joins all. It has been with us since before we even awoke to this cycle. From the moment of our birth, it is joined and follows with us and aids us.
Okay, do you know what this this colorful rock is?
This one?
Oh, that one's wonderful.
It's blue.
It is blue. If
Has
I
some
might
wonderful magical
check my
properties if used right.
notes.
Did your
Yes.
potion run out?
Yeah,
Lapis?
I appreciate it. It worked.
I
I
do
think-
believe that it is a lapis. It can be used
Lapis.
for a fair number of things, which I am not quite familiar. It is
Oh,
not quite inside my
Zach knows.
realm
Oh,
of...
Oh man,
Are
Zach
you
knows
wanting it?
a fair
You
amount.
can have it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep some of it for later.
There are
though.
a librarian, so.
Oh my. A keeper of the
If
knowledge.
I get a red rock, wait.
Mm-hmm.
I would
Do you
love
have any
to...
of the red powder? Because I can have another
red?
potion.
I only have the one that is in the timer. Oh my, friend, turn.
Take one of those.
Do be careful.
It was after me.
Ah,
Can't say I haven't fought a fair number of skeletons.
but yes, this is our humble Bethel where we gather to discuss what steps and actions might be taken to aid in the betterment of the next cycle.
You need to figure out who's going to be cleaning.
We do need to reconfigure the cleaning schedule. I know it has. I know I have not been here for some time.
Mm-mm.
I believe that I will take the next cycle's cleaning.
That's-
There's a couple copper pieces closer to the house than the Bethel.
What's with all the copper talk? I mean, I recently
The copper
grabbed a
protects
bunch out
us.
of the cave, so.
The copper helps appease the shadow.
Oh, well,
The shadow, as please be careful as you come this way, but we do not want to anger. But as you can see from here, we have the ring of metal, copper, as you so call it, which we use to help aid in our rights to appease the shadow, that it might not disturb the livelihood of those above. And the mouth of the shadows is spoken again.
Mm.
probably best to. Thankfully, when I have a bit of water on me, I can see a fair bit further in the dark, and that's quite a lot of copper. Quite a lot of copper.
It it is no easy feat to appease the shadow. But the darkness does many things for us.
Oh,
It need not concern you, friend Firesong. I'm certain that they will. I'm certain they will introduce themselves should they feel the need or want to do so. There is no need to force
They steal the
someone
hymns.
outside.
but the hymns. What if they take them?
I do not believe that they would take the hymns. And if I know we are missing one since I went on my sojourn, but anything could have happened to that one. It would not be right to accuse someone.
I'm not saying that they took it. I'm just saying, like, what if they do take them?
I
If
would
they
like to say, in my experience with most religions, it's not the books themselves, but the words that are in them. And it seems like you have people who are very knowledgeable on the words in them. So I think you're all very, very fine, Fire.
you
There's
are
no
mo-
need to worry.
you are more than welcome to join us for any gathering that we have here. Whether it be our meetings to discuss the betterment of the cycle, or whether it be our potlucks that we have, or even the joining together to sing our joyous praises. You are, of course, more than welcome to join in any of them, should you so choose.
Well, I would say it's rather interesting. I might pop by every so often just to make sure everything's all well and good, you know. But I will have to solve my little water issue if I want to stay here for extended periods of time. I would hate to hurt you with something that keeps me safe.
You
Lastly,
you
make
do
a
not
lot of
need to
sense.
concern yourself with that. Pain is an old friend. It has been with me a long time. And darkness be praised, it will be with me for a long time further.
It's a very interesting way to look at it. You mentioned these hymns?
Oh, on the back of each pew.
Oh,
Feel free to peruse.
let's see. Let's see.
Yes, we gather here on a weekly basis, minimum, to discuss among ourselves what steps might be taken, whether or not anyone in the community is in need or has wants that need assistance being covered, that we might ensure the strength of the community.
Seems like there's a. Oh, sorry, I'm so invested. Seems like there's a blank page here. Page 7. Is that on purpose or?
That is when we need to have a break between the hymns. If something has angered the voice of the shadows, it must be dealt with. While we do appreciate the time that we spend here gathered together, there are times when we must take breaks for the safety of the community to ensure that all is well. Becoming engrossed in one's work is rarely a good thing.
Oh, absolutely. Especially, I can't tell you how like, yep. I don't really get a chance. I haven't really gotten a chance to read many books as of late. It's only recently that I've been able to breathe for as long as I have. So, it is rather nice being able to read something that isn't waterlogged.
Oh,
Oh, and that the
I
books
keep running
rarely
into the
hold
small
up so
man.
well when I'm sure that, well, they do seem to be skittish. The fact that they do spend time around us does show that they are not a concern. They're not a. They do not mean a. They do not intend us harm. If they did so, they would have done something
I'm
by
not
now.
trying to scare them. Do they think that they will enjoy sweet berry?
They
What?
might. That is something that
What? What's
might
wrong?
no.
I wanted to see if they wanted a sweet berry.
Who?
They're tasty. Want one?
Tasty. Yeah, but I can definitely understand the getting engrossed in one's work. I can't tell you how many models took a bit longer than I would have liked. Would have been much better to take a break midway through. Probably would have made it take a bit less time. But,
Oh, I am well aware of the entrapping nature of one's tasks. Once you get started, it is difficult to set it down when you can see the progress being made.
absolutely.
I think that there's more of the red,
It does.
this red dust over that way, Kay. Because
Oh,
if there is, I can
There
extend the
is,
potions.
but
I found a fair bit
The-
out there in the caves in the water.
the enemies of the darkness are also over in that area in some strong numbers.
That's
So if you are to go that way, I would advise not going alone.
Mm.
Well, I mean, I find a fair number in the caves of in the waters down below. So, if I do
Like,
find any, I'll
the
be
red,
sure to.
this red stuff.
Yeah, it's in.
I
in
can
the
extend your
walls
potions,
mostly.
and I
Oh,
can extend your
wonderful.
potions to be even longer.
Oh, that's
You
nice.
can breathe longer.
Means I'd be able
And
to spend a bit more time above water without needing.
as we are here, we might as well have a gathering. So let me go ahead and start the timer. Friend turn.
Mhm.
While it is your turn, why not let us know what it is that you do and what things that you would like us to keep an eye out for you.
Well, personally, while I am no longer a ship captain, I am a bit of a model maker. I just try to make sure that things look nice and that people get what they need. And as long as people make their needs known, I will do the best I can to help in that way. Other than that, I'm rather happy.
And friend term, are there any needs of the community that you feel are not currently being met?
Not currently, but I will keep a mental note on that.
This is
I do
much
appreciate
appreciated.
asking me. Of course, of course.
And oh, friend Zach of the Slimes, why not tell us about yourself?
I'm just a humble slime who wants to make friends.
That is quite a noble aspiration. What hobbies do you have?
I like books. I want to make magic books, but getting getting magic is hard.
This is quite understandable. Uh,
Does this lapis
Are
stuff help
there-
with magic?
It does help with magic, but there's other stuff that you need for magic too.
Like paper and leather and all manner of.
that
It's a very
has become
profitable.
scarce in the more recent days,
Mhm.
particularly with this
Have-
everlasting winter that has seemed to descend upon us.
I have ways to make paper. It's the leather that I need.
The leather is quite the conundrum to come by.
I'll be honest, I didn't realize I had a second potion, and now I'm breathing again, which is nice.
And
Sorry for
I
the
snuck it to
interruption.
you.
and friend Zach, do you feel that there are any needs of the community that are not currently being met?
Not that I can think of, no.
And what are some things you would like us to keep an eye out for? Just merely the supplies by which you could make additional books, or is there anything else?
If you see any cows, let me know.
Cows.
Catch
All
it
right.
later.
I tend to use rabbits for mine, but if cows are easier
Mhm.
for you,
I mean, he is bigger than you, so
you would have
it
an
would be
easier
easier for him
time
to go
keeping
after
up with
cows.
them. This is true.
I don't know how to feed rabbits and make them make babies, so that would be a problem.
I see. In Friend Fire song,
Mm-hmm.
why not tell of yourself?
I was a fox. I'm trying to find a way back with potions. Um, I have a lot of extra books that I don't use anymore, so that may be of help for you, friend Zach. Um, but yeah, I like berries and chicken.
Very, very nice.
And Friend Fire song, are there any needs of the community that you feel are not currently being met?
Um, no. I mean, besides keeping an eye on the copper, I've been trying to clean it as best as I can, but it's kind of hard to do a one-man band with cleaning it.
I understand.
But then try to keep an eye out for my cousin that somehow got loose. They
Oh
have a lot of
my.
fur. Yeah,
Let's see. I will keep
it
my
was.
eyes open should I see them.
Thank you, Kay.
For those of you who do not know me, I am Kay. I am but a humble leader of the practitioners here. I awoke to find myself living within these walls, having been blessed by the shadow with abilities and senses beyond that of some of my more natural kindred of the rodent variety. But with those blessings came some impediments. And as the previous leader of the flock here allowed me to stay and taught me much, I carry on in his stead. Since we have gathered here, we might as well share some of the sanctified meals. If you don't mind, I shall return shortly that we might break bread together.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Hmm. Well, I will say it
Oh.
seems like the seems very interesting, but I'll drop by every now and then. I don't think I'll be able to drop by every week,
Oh.
but they're okay.
Mm. Mm.
You need not concern yourself with me.
Got it. Got it.
As I said, pain is an old friend.
That doesn't make them a good friend, though.
Oh wow.
From echoes to eternity.
What if
Echoes
I'm
to
too
return.
hungry? What if I'm too full to eat?
You can partake in it at a later times. It need not be had at this moment.
Mm.
My word.
Yes, this is what I wanted to show you, as it is quite unusual to have such a strong presenting of the shadows within the kappa of your town, and yet have it not be connected. It was quite unsettling to see.
What if they cleaned all the shadows and left the copper?
The shadows do not stand for such things, Fire Song, as you will recall the incident that happened a
Mhm.
few summers ago.
I remember.
The shadows do not like to be tampered with.
Mm-mm.
I will say it is very nice to have someone else who enjoys. I'm not going to lie. This reminds me of the story time I occasionally do.
Story time.
Story.
Yeah.
Are you a spinner of yarns as well?
I've lived long enough to have a few tales.
Hmm.
I know I have
You
at
will
least
have-
one that I didn't start with.
You will have to let me know the next time that you are telling tales of your own. I would love to be in attendance.
I agree.
Of course, of course. Seems like a wonderful. That's not a full block. Right. There we go.
Oh.
The stairs might prove quite difficult for you at times, friend Captain.
I understand it is no one's fault. I cannot blame anybody for the lack that I have.
Hmm.
I can only blame myself for it.
I think I could do one because I have one extra water breathing potion. If I added this and do one other thing, then you should be able to go longer. But my
Mhm.
brewing stands up at the market.
Mhm. Oh, well, we're going up there. Might as well. Yeah, I will say, Kay, it seems like you have a lovely little service there. Very nice. Good way to keep the community all together in some way.
You must have community, or else everything will fall to infighting.
Of course, of course.
And this will only anger the shadows.
Of course.
There are enough troubles that people face in their daily lives. They do not need to add those that others would bring upon them.
Absolutely. Like I can't tell you how it's like I think we had a similar saying on the ship, happy crew, happy few.
That is quite a limerick indeed.
Mm-hmm. It's what allowed me to stay captain for as long as I was, and until I wasn't able to. I wasn't fit to be captain at the end there.
That should
Can't
last
exactly
long.
ooh. Can't
That should
exactly
last
sail a
long.
ship when you can't breathe.
I could see how that might lead to some complications.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that definitely feels a whole lot stronger.
Hmm.
I'm going to have to.
I'm gonna need more puffer
let-
fish.
Well, if we find any, you know exactly where to get it, and if I can do anything for you, do feel free to let me know. I may be a bit older, but I can make a fair number of models and
Do you
I
think
can
you
find a
can-
fair number of metals and such.
Do you think you can make a little model where the tunnel that I found where my cousin fled in to be smaller? Kind of like make it small, like the hole smaller? Because obviously someone
Yeah,
built the tunnel,
Yeah, I can do
so
that.
someone's using it.
Can't say I've been asked to do that before, but I can absolutely do that.
Yay!
Mm-hmm.
Now I just need to find my cousin.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure that you'll find it with time. You have the string, and if we find any slime balls, then we'll be sure to send that your way. Unfortunately, I don't think Zach drops those.
No.
I don't think
He's a
I
bit-
do.
He's a bit more complex than the normal slime.
How can a slime be more complex?
Well, most
I don't
slimes
know.
can't. Most slimes don't get to be this shape. Most of them sort of are more this shape.
The same way that I am not like my kindred, oh friend Fire Song.
We all have something that makes us special.
I mean, as I if you would allow me to entry, I could showcase quite briefly.
Oh, of course.
This is one of the things, one of the blessings that have been bestowed upon me.
Oh, wow. Now that is something. Complete immunity to fire.
Indeed. It has its uses at times.
Oh, absolutely.
With the susceptibility that cold that comes along with it, does make these long winters a bit unbearable.
Mm-hmm. I know it's been a fair bit harder to breathe with the water freezing over all the time. Thankfully,
Well,
I'm a bit more lucky in the fact that I can just break the top layer and get a gulp or two every now and then.
On days when I'm feeling particularly swift, the frozen waters actually allow me faster travel to areas I'm looking to explore.
At
As
some point, I should show you my old ship. I recently, I went being able to breathe as much as I can now. I was finally able to make a journey back there.
oh my,
Mm-hmm.
that would be a sight to behold.
Yeah.
Uh,
Unfortunately,
but how
I doubt we
how
have
much
much
water
time.
would need to be covered for such a journey?
Oh, I just with. Thankfully, it's mostly over ice, so the
Skeleman.
thankfully with that with how much
Oh,
ice
how
there. Oh, whoa.
dreadfully cold this is.
Oh, absolutely. I know Kareem. They're able to just stand on stuff like that.
It tends to
They worry nothing
disappear
at all.
beneath my feet.
Mm-hmm.
It makes it quite troublesome at times.
Mm-hmm. Oh, watch out! Watch out, Waterfall! Watch
Oh
out!
no! Oh no!
Watch out!
Oh! Oh!
It's going away, thankfully. As soon as I saw it, I was like, "You need to move. I don't want you getting hurt." Oh, it should be draining shortly. What's safe for one is danger for another.
Such as the mysteries and such as the sense of humor of the cycle. It loves to weave such oddities into the next spin.
Mm-hmm.
I fell.
Oh, No, your ankles are fine.
I don't have ink.
They don't have bones.
I will have to gift you a pair of ankles. Simply so that you might have some. Whether or not you need them, I would hate for you to be left out upon not having them.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone deserves to have a pair of ankles.
Mm-hmm. But yes, I know over in that direction is where my ship lies.
Oh my.
Fortunately, unaccessible, but it's not seaworthy anymore. That's for sure. We had a good last run, though.
Only a good last run? Were there no other memorable moments from it?
Oh, there were
Hey,
many,
back.
many memorable moments, but
Took you long
hello,
enough.
Kareem.
Oh.
How are things?
But alright, I got those flowers over by the old village and
Oh, over
I
by the old
fixed-
ship too.
yes.
Good
I
times,
still
good
can't
times.
imagine how you managed that.
Well,
Kareem,
I've managed crazier.
Yes.
I have some arrows for you.
Thank
And
you.
an arrow of slowness.
Oh.
I don't
Well,
have a
that's-
bow, so
I
I
do.
can't use them. Wait, I do have a
Speaking-
bow, but I don't need it.
Okay, well, thank you. Speaking of arrows, Kay, was it?
Yes.
I have a proposition for you. I trade you fish for arrows. Because I need a constant supply of arrows.
I will do what I can to find enough to satisfy your desires.
It is very much appreciated.
Anything
Thank you
for a
much.
member of the community.
Watch out. Come on. Well, it's after your turn.
I haven't really had time to sleep. Needing to
What
be
is
underwater
that
makes
thing?
it a fair bit harder
I'm not
to
sure
get
what
a
they
good
are,
rest.
but they're quite
Wet
loud.
sheets are not fun.
And I don't like it when people don't sleep. Wow.
Yeah.
Get back here.
Oh, then it must not be satisfied with my sojourn into the darkness.
Oh, you don't get much sleep either.
This one's slippery.
My journeys often take me to seek out the places that my visions have spoken to me of.
Mm-hmm.
That the shadows might be
There
appeased
we go.
and the town kept sanctified.
Absolutely. Seems like a reasonable thing to do. Couple journeys here and there. I'm sure you've had some fun with a couple of them.
Oh, I've had fun
Oh, that's
with a
wonderful.
few of them.
You said you had visions of sorts.
Of sorts, yes.
Like, ones that see the future or something?
No, the voice of the shadows speak to me and tell me of things that need to be adjusted to keep it appeased.
Okay. Well.
It
It's not
is
hurting
difficult
anyone.
to explain to one who has not experienced the voice of the shadows.
I'd prefer not to have any voice talking to me of someone I can't see.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when we
It's
were
rather
at the
unnerving.
Bethel, could you understand the words that were said by the mouth of the shadow?
I'm sorry. I saw something very traumatic happen off in the distance. I assume fire is all right. What was that again?
When we were at the Bethel and the voice of the shadows spoke to us, were you able to understand the words that it said?
Not quite. It sounded a lot like shrieking.
I see.
Though, to be fair, I've only been there once, so I wouldn't put it past it that I just don't.
Should probably go help fire.
Mayhaps on
Yeah.
your next visit, it will allow you to hear its words clearly.
Maybe.
Oh, this is so dreadfully cold.
Oh,
I must
so,
get.
Oh,
so it seems like you can't stay on the ice for too long.
I must move
Did you do
quite
this?
quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Did you do this?
Not
The ice is-
intentionally. It is
They're fireproof.
a byproduct.
Seemingly not proof.
They're fireproof, but not waterproof, which is unfortunate considering the world we live in.
This everlasting winter is becoming quite troublesome.
Mm-hmm.
I quite enjoy it. Snow's calming and quiet.
Kareem likes the snow.
To see the snow fall is a wonderful sight to behold. To have to walk through it, though, causes many old pains to flare.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing I misfired often goes into someone's knee. I apologize for that.
Where?
no, I think it was from him. From the dude that attacked me.
We are.
May this
well,
cheese help you bind your flesh together.
It may. It helped a
Behind
little.
you.
Ah!
No.
I saw that and just could not react. It was just like there's a part of me that was just like, wow, there it is, and I'm here,
I
sitting.
can't do anything. I was over on the bench.
I was over on the
No,
bench.
the bridge. The bridge.
I
Can
am
we
certain we
practice
can
with
find
snow?
supplies to.
We'll find some more. We built before, we can build again.
I'll just avoid that section.
For now. It is blue ice, I will say, and blue ice is a lot more durable than regular ice.
It is a lot more durable, but it's also a fair bit colder as well.
At some point, but yes, at some point we should. Actually, we might be able to reach the. I'm pretty sure on your side, there's that's where the stretch of land is, so you probably won't need to traverse as much ice and water as we did.
I mean, there's no real path up to that way. You have to walk across the ice.
Can't you get on my backpack? Could you try to get on the backpack?
Honestly, if you can.
Unfortunately, it will not let the adjustments that have been made to the bag, your carrying bag, will no longer allow me to ride with you for uppies.
What about me? I wouldn't mind sending you that way.
There has to be a way for.
I mean, I could try to find a path that way. I mean, if you run fast enough across the ice, it should be too bad. It looks like the ice healed and froze back over, so it's not too big of an issue.
I think I can make a shelf for my backpack.
Honestly, I would love for you all to get to see the ship and what it looks like, and not how it looks in a bottle.
I would love to see such
You
a
have to be
thing
fast,
myself.
Or, I guess go slow.
Oh.
Either way works.
Oh, so if you sneak, it doesn't melt as fast.
Oh no! Oh no! Nope! No! Oh no! Oh, the pain has returned.
So what I'm assuming is you need to go as fast as possible then.
Speed is an ally.
Does anyone have any wood? Does anyone have any wood?
I did see a new
something.
growing
Actually, I
of a
do have some wood
forest
on me.
over in that
There you go.
direction.
I mean, I have a bunch of wood, but also I'm sure you could go around to your side and go across the hill, which is, I presume, safer since you don't seem to be being bothered by the snow.
It is
No.
quite uncomfortable, but it is
My crafting table
much
is
more
so weird.
manageable.
There it is.
I'll see if I can make a bridge over at a later date. I don't have all the materials right now.
You need not worry about concerning yourself on my behalf.
I think I can make something. I'm not sure if it's gonna work though.
Make something.
Yes. I figure out how to do this.
But yet, I know with the model that I have, it might be you'd probably be able to. If we can't go over there, I can always show you the model.
I would love to
I thought
see
you were
it
about
on
to
such a
say
time.
put him on a tiny ship and push him across.
You know that.
I mean,
that might
if-
work as well.
I have always wanted to be able to journey upon the seas, but it has always been such a dangerous endeavor I dared not try.
I mean,
I have this.
the
I don't know
shot,
how to attach it to
you
my.
keep melting the ice, then it's going to be
Attach it
constant
to your
water,
back.
which means you
That's
can
a
get
boat.
across.
I got a backpack shelf, but I don't know how to attach it to my backpack.
It's like a what again?
A backpack shelf.
A shelf.
Yes.
Hmm.
Supposed to do something.
Maybe if you take the backpack off and combine it with it,
Maybe.
that would make sense to me anyway.
No.
I mean, I put the boat over there if you want to give it a shot. It might be dangerous, but
I mean, we
Fair,
can
fair.
probably try.
Silly thought. Is it for putting? Do you put the shelf on a wall and put your backpack on the shelf? Is that what it's for?
I would think that you could add. Dang it. I thought I did something.
Let's see if
It
possible.
was a thought.
It-
It was a
it's-
thought.
It was a
it
thought.
seems when you're in the boat, you're not causing as much melting.
Oh,
No!
Ooh, actually,
Maybe wait for him to get back in before you move.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
oh my,
Wait, wait.
Slow and
What if
steady,
we
but
put,
you're getting across.
but what if,
this is wonderful. This is like that old parable about the scorpion and the frog.
oh, I see this. I'm not familiar with that one. The one I have heard of is
All
of
right, I need to get in the
in-
water.
is of
Get
a
in the
wolf
water, please.
Here.
and a
here,
chicken.
I can,
Oh
I will
no!
drive. I will,
Oh, now you're both in.
Wait a minute.
I'll drive the boat.
I'm
have-
legitimately trapped right now. There we go.
Oh,
There we go.
as much as I appreciate this endeavor, I do not feel that it is working as intended.
I don't think it was either. Wait, what if we put the
Wait.
boat?
Guys,
Who are
it's
you?
that thing.
Oh,
Wait.
What if we put the boat on the ice and the snow?
You know, that might actually be a whole lot better.
Let's wait until we get over to the snow. Don't chase
He froze me. He froze me.
He froze you?
What
What?
the hell?
him!
What?
Oh no! Okay, you gotta be careful.
I think you did more than freeze him.
I mean, to be fair, freezing slime is probably counterintuitive to what
Hey.
slimes are.
I mean, it worked.
true.
But now I guess you have to go across more ice.
Here.
Well,
Okay,
there's a way around more of, but
Where'd my water go?
you can't place water on snow, I don't think.
I'm
Aw.
back.
not upon the fallen snow.
We're gonna get you. We'll put you in the boat once we get on the ice, and then we can go across the ice.
By the
There we go.
journeys in the scientific mind shall make.
Oh well,
Oh!
No.
I'm guessing when you're in the water, you don't melt as much.
It might be that I am
It-
on an
There's-
area
there's-
below the
that-
height of the
that-
ice that is causing it.
there's a way around.
Oh,
There's
perfect.
a thing. Hey, get back here.
No, wait. Leave them alone. Would you like some berries?
What is
Well,
this?
it
like
seems
some
we are
berries?
going this way.
So it would appear.
He was
That's-
the small guy that I was talking about when we were at the Bethel.
Look like a tiny long rat. No offense, guy.
Ooh.
He did not appear so similar to my brethren. But perhaps it takes the eye of one to notice such distinctions.
Right?
Mhm.
I'll make sure everybody's on their way.
Until Zach is. What is Zach doing?
Has the little one returned over there? Ah,
By the
the little one
ice.
is over there on the mountainside. So I see.
Zach has bailed on us, I assume. Fair enough.
Oh,
This is the old village.
Mhm.
There we go.
I don't know what happened here.
Mhm.
At least I don't remember. But
It's abandoned.
I
That's for sure.
I do not recall if this village failed to appease the shadows. There are tales of such events taking place, but rarely are locations recorded along with.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, more sweet ones.
hi.
I will say it is rather nice having someone who can melt the ice immediately. It makes it
What
much
does
easier to
this do?
survive here.
For you,
What's this
maybe.
do?
I quite like my frozen land.
We are over here at the village, friend Zach.
You ran back, so I assumed you were just going home.
You ran a pretty far distance.
Are you going to the ship?
It does seem like we're almost there.
Oh, that hurts you. I'm so sorry.
Behind you.
Probably need to cook the chicken.
Long.
Still more cobwebs.
But yes, we're actually rather close to where my old ship is.
Oh my, that is quite fortuitous
I
indeed.
still don't understand how you managed that.
Hard work, determination.
That doesn't explain what happened.
I'd say it explains it perfectly.
And for the others, Tom.
True. Sorry.
Did you ascend upon the ice or go around the edges of the village?
You'll
Either
see.
or.
You'll see what happens.
Where are they right now?
I still don't understand it. They're over by the house. We went around the other side. Slut
I'm
platter.
so cold. I'm still
Fr-
cold.
friend Zach. Friend Zach, stay by me. Mayhaps my blessings will help aid your warmth.
If I go down, I will break my ankles.
I don't know if it's helping.
Well, come on. It's less snow over this way. Over by the ship.
Oh my word.
Wait,
You
turn.
Mm-hmm.
By the ship is covered in ice. How's Kay gonna get there?
We'll find a way. I found a way to get the ship there before. I'll find a way to get Kay there now. The one thing I know about myself is that I never give up.
Someone has it said.
Quite a few of us, friend Fire.
Ow, my ankles.
Oh my.
Ooh, drop something. Ow.
Much better.
Everyone okay?
I'm doing wonderful.
I've been better.
I'm
I've also
cold,
been
but
worse.
otherwise unharmed. I don't know what
You
this
good?
cold
Hey,
is doing to
Hey,
me.
whoa! There they go,
Huh?
I guess.
Hmm?
They were getting attacked by a zombie and then they ran off.
Hmm.
Oh, well.
I'm probably gonna need help getting down without breaking any bones.
Ooh, where are you right now? Can you see the edge?
Over this
Yeah.
way.
Oh, well. Oh, I was just gonna use some water.
The water might freeze, and that wouldn't be very productive.
It would not freeze if I was nearby.
Ow.
Ooh.
I mean,
What?
there is this swamp area.
It'd probably help get it a bit closer. You can almost see it over the horizon.
Oh yeah, you
Thankfully,
can see it from
I
here.
brought this.
You can see it
Hmm.
from here. So Kay will be able to see it.
Okay, you in, Kay?
Oh,
No.
Kay, get in the boat.
Stays a bit
Oh, I'm stuck.
Why am I
There we
still
go.
cold?
Probably won't be able to see it too well, but better something than nothing. See it over the horizon? Right past the barrier.
Oh my. That is quite a skilled feat indeed.
There's that creature.
Oh, well, there they are.
Mm,
Yes, but I...
Wait,
Oh,
wait. Have berries.
yeah.
I still don't know. Again, I still don't know how the hell you manage that tracker.
Hard work, determination. My name's
That
in it.
doesn't explain it.
Maybe
Like,
they'll come by if I give them more berries.
listen, for a final voyage, I'd say it was wonderful.
Certainly one hell of a final voyage.
Mm-hmm.
Doubt you can push that thing back in the water again.
Mhm.
Exactly. Can't even go and get it. I got that thing past the barrier.
Mm.
uh,
Was this what you hoped to do?
I'd say so. It's what I ended up doing, and you know, whether that was the intent or not, it's what the world decided.
What?
There were old memories on that ship, and if it stayed on this side, I'd probably still be in it right now.
Mm.
I don't.
I
Now,
seem
that's a
to have
clever
become
way to get across
trapped.
the water.
I'll help you.
Hold on.
Much appreciated.
You want to play a game of who can get the most lily pads?
Oh, I saw the being.
You can just play.
Is it
the
stuck in the
lily
water?
Hi.
Ah!
Here.
Bloody hell.
Woohoo! There's also some pebbles. Oh, well.
You don't have to break them. We could make a path for the next time we come out. There's plenty of.
Oh.
Oh, this reminds me of the Pilates classes of my youth.
What are Pilates?
Mm-mm.
It is a means of exercise that some people do to help keep themselves fit.
Seems that thing I fished up came in handy, anyways.
Everyone and everything is useful. It is merely a matter of seeing the situation in which it might be needed.
Absolutely.
Fair enough.
You never know what can be useful.
After all, you would not
Smallest
expect a
pebble can be
fish to
useful.
climb a tree very well, and
Yeah,
it should
I
not
can't
be
climb
judged
trees very well.
accordingly.
Oh no! No!
Well, oh well.
I have a couple arrows.
There's a tunnel all the way through here.
Secret
Oh,
tunnel.
oh, oh my.
It is
Oh,
made
my
of ice, so do be careful.
Ew.
Ice is not and never shall be my friend.
Well, never say never. Who knows? Maybe you'll find something that'll let you do it, like my little chest plate here.
Where are?
Mayhaps such a thing could be found, but I have yet to find any reference to such a thing in the texts of old.
Well, if I find anything, I'll make sure to keep an eye out.
I can try to see if there's any potion recipes.
If you find a tincture that could aid in such endeavors, I would be most appreciative.
Cream, didn't you say that you needed arrows?
Yes, I do need a lot of arrows. Oh, thank
I
you.
got 3.
Go.
And I have this one for you.
Hmm.
stop misfiring.
Question: Am I shaking?
You do not appear to be shaken to my
You do not appear
eyes.
to be.
You look fine to me.
I am shaking for me, and I am also cold.
Maybe you should go back to the cave and warm up. It's a lot warmer in there.
I've been cold ever since that sorcerer blasted me with ice.
Hmm. What are you doing down there, Kay? Find some new blocks?
Well, mayhaps.
I'm gonna take these.
I mean, I have found something which might help warm our friend, but it is, beyond this water.
Oh,
At this point, I'll take anything. I think it's slowing me down.
Then come this way.
but don't get too close.
Does this aid you? Not that close.
I'm still somehow cold.
Oh my. How that is most unfortunate.
No, no.
Have
You
some
okay?
sustenance.
Have some sleep berries.
I'm still cold. It did nothing for me.
Watch out!
Whoa! What? Is everyone alright?
We are
I walked
quite
into
well.
lava and I'm still cold.
It is quite befuddling.
At this
We
point,
we did advise to stay back from the edge, but they were quite adamant.
at this point, Zach, you confuse me and also amaze me.
Oh man,
Careful!
you guys
There's
are way
really
down
hot
there.
stuff down here.
I've been
Oh.
cold ever since that ice wizard blasted me with ice.
One sec.
What
There we
if
go.
we... There has to be a way to unfreeze a slime, right?
I mean, this common sense would believe me to think so.
Cave in time.
There's not much in the cave.
Aw,
Are you trying to do something dangerous, Term?
danger is the spice of life.
Fair, but not when it
I
comes
thought
to
that was
costing your own
Pepper's.
life. Although we can't really die.
I've been here a long enough time to know.
Hmm.
I mean, I've been around
Oh, I'm
the
so
same time
sorry.
as you, as far as I'm.
Friend Fire Song, I forgive you.
Oh.
I'm so very sorry.
Just
Here,
because the
here.
shadows have deemed that you are not to have perished yet does not mean that their blessing will not be removed.
Here.
Understandable, understandable.
Take some
That
berries.
sounds more like a threat.
What is
I
that?
have seen evidence of those who came before
Why
on
do
the
I have
previous
this?
cycles.
That looks
They
like-
had also been
As
blessed
far
by...
as I know, people cannot die.
They had also been blessed by the shadows, that they might
Why do I
continue
have
on the
this?
cycle.
Have one.
At some point, they angered the shadows, and their blessings were rescinded.
I don't know how you would anger a shadow. Shadows don't have
Hey,
sentience.
Kay, do you know what this is? It's like
That
a
would
tiny
be
block
purple,
that...
Hmm?
It is a small portion of a larger thing.
The world is a lot bigger than you may think.
It's my slime, but why do
That
I
may be
have it?
true.
How did
I
I
don't
get
know.
it? I didn't
I don't
have
know.
it with me just a while ago.
Much like
Maybe you just
the
ripped it off.
Yeah.
You're constantly oozing.
Friend
You
Fire
are a
Song,
very
much like the
drippy
tool that
person. You are
I
dripped out.
keep in my possession, that was safeguarded by the previous leader.
It's mainly for me to see. I see a bit better
His
when
his
swimming
sacred
through the water.
possession.
Hey,
Are you
Captain, you got
okay?
any of that? You got any more stuff to make a bucket? I want to grab some of this like hot stuff.
Here,
Not on me.
I'm cold
I have
and
something,
I'm
but it's
melting.
not-
I don't think I have any way to
Here,
heat
maybe this will
this.
help.
Oh,
Oh, well, that... Uh-oh.
Oh, watch out!
There we go. That solved it.
I think I remember how to make those old
I
furnaces.
think I have something.
Of course, this one maybe not as powerful, but I can whip something up real quick. Or someone else does. That works too.
hello, friend Captain. Oh, friend Fire,
well,
I
more
have
of
found
those
some more of
magic
that blue rock that friend Zach was searching for.
It shouldn't be too much of an issue for me to grab that stuff since I don't have much feeling in my hands. So the heat doesn't bother me. No
Well, I mean, if that is all that we
Near
need,
the heat. Let me get near the heat. Heat me up, please.
I mean, if you merely need someone to grab it.
Too late. I already got it.
I don't understand what's happening to me.
I'm not sure either. I'm sure we can get you fixed up once we get home.
Mm-hmm.
It's also a good thing that my hands don't have much feeling, so I'm able to grab the hot metals once they're done cooking or smelting as soon as I can.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure you'll find some use for it. Lava is quite useful in the right circumstance.
Indeed it is.
Hmm.
Not something we'd normally keep on a ship, though.
Yeah. I assume it'd burn a hole right through.
Mm-hmm. Right through, straight to the bottom.
Oh, sorry.
It is quite alright, friend Fire.
Hmm.
So what other areas of interest do you have?
Not much
That's
else.
the only
I
one
mean,
that I had.
Yeah, this is all we really have. Not much here. Don't always build more.
Either way, we should probably start heading back.
Yeah.
Be unfortunate if any of us died this far out.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Bit of a pain getting back.
Mm-hmm. I mean, maybe not for you, but
Well, yeah.
I have a couple.
It only takes me a few seconds.
exactly, and mainly for our friends here.
Yes. If you need materials, okay, you can just ask me. I can get you some.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty good at
I
chopping
find
down
them-
those trees.
Oh?
Yes, I
Because
just fly to the top and go down.
Mm-hmm.
Ah.
Very efficient.
Mm-hmm. It is very nice not having to do stuff from the bottom up.
Yes. Very nice. and
When I tend to just climb my way to the top.
Understand.
Paw and claw.
Especially gives me a good view.
The views are a sight to behold.
Indeed. There's a few tall trees on the top of our caves, and it's quite pretty looking down.
Those ice spikes
Mm-hmm.
over there.
Mm-hmm.
Have you been over there? I mean, I know I have. But...
My sojourns usually take me into the depths. Rarely am I exploring on the surface.
One of those when I was
I don't
crashing.
like to go to low.
Might have
I
used one of
prefer
those
to be
when I
up
was
high.
taking my last voyage, but it's more as a ramp and less as anything else.
Where did Kay go?
He's up here in the tree.
Hmm.
Oh, here's turn.
I mean, if our new friend Zach requires heat sources, then I figured it would be a worthwhile endeavor to make some travel-sized lights that they might take with them.
I mean, we have a forge. It might be warm enough with the new lava I found.
Oh wow.
Mayhaps.
You mean these?
I was thinking more
Sure.
along the
Zach,
campfires.
see if you can. Mm,
I'm still cold.
Who knows? You might need some. You might need some milk.
Milk is a wondrous thing.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you can make some of the
Yeah.
finest cheeses.
I think milk. I think cheese is only. Maybe I'm mistaken, or I haven't had enough cheese. But doesn't milk make all cheese?
If you want the basics, yes, but usually you want to add in other seasonings, other varieties, other victuals.
Well, the more you know. We didn't
oh
really
no,
have
there's
many.
a tall
many
man over there.
we didn't really have many.
Don't look at it.
No, I did.
Oh, great.
Where did you go? Oh, hello.
Always appears behind you. So keep turning around.
He has been banished.
Mhm.
That's good. Well, there's a lot of them now.
We should probably get home.
It might be time to return to our abodes.
Yeah.
I can only run so fast. I'm cold.
Shit. Look at that, right?
Friend Tom, how is your breathing apparatus working at this time?
So far, so good. Just a couple here. Just a couple.
I see you've picked up some friends on your sojourn.
Oh, honestly, they remind me of my crew, though maybe a bit older than I left them.
Oh my.
Don't worry, they all
Run,
went
run.
home. They didn't. I know that sounds bad, but they
It sounds concerning, at the
they went
least.
back to their home, and I took my final voyage.
I see.
That
is much better than
whatever
the
final
other
voyage-
situation I was envisioning.
You get to see first.
Oh, cousins there. Please say that they're there. If they're not, I'm gonna cry.
Well, let's try reconnecting there for a moment. I'm not sure what caused that, as we are still seeing quite a strong connection on our end. I need to gather some supplies and set up some things. Because we will need to reestablish this farming center of our village. So we will need to gather the supplies for that.
No. bell. The bell. The bell, the bell, the bell. The bell.
Well, hello,
Why
friend
ring the
fire.
bell? Why ring the bell?
I was placing some
Wait,
more communal
mm.
fireplaces and cooking supplies over here, and I think I may have triggered it accidentally.
Hmm. Makes sense. Ow.
Careful though, friend fire.
I think you took my chicken.
So, friend fire, what are your thoughts upon our new neighbors?
They were kind of hostile towards me at first, but to be fair, we did kind of go over there unannounced, so
Oh.
makes sense why they were hostile. It's when my cousins first got out and was trying to find stuff.
I see.
The berries didn't work, the chicken didn't work, so we figured that the bridge would connect somewhere where there would be civilizations. So me and Rel went over. But not the friendliest at first.
Understandable, this land can be quite harsh at times, particularly for those unknowing of the darkness.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised that they have managed as well as they have in this situation.
I'm worried for the captain. All the copper is like
That is quite concerning. No, we shall keep an eye on it, and should it start to spread, should the shadows' ire be gathered over there, we will, of course, join them in tending for the village.
But there's some copper over here too, but I don't know where it goes to or what it's for. But it's definitely slightly getting corrupted. Ow. I'm gonna use your smoker because I keep running into the fire.
By all means, it is there for all in the community to use.
Oh.
Indeed, that is why it is placed on the outside.
But yeah, like this tunnel, it has the copper and it's getting corrupted.
I do see that.
And I don't know of any way to get into the tunnel.
Yes, that is concerning. We will have to take a look at that.
Mm.
We will have to take a look through the journals and see what the ancients did. As some of the things that the ancients, the remnants of some of the remnants of the last cycle still remain and stand strong and untouched by the shadow. Yet others,
Oh.
yet others are strangely afflicted by it.
Mm. Mm.
But Captain Term is a teller of stories as well.
Hmm.
I am curious as to whether or not the yarns he spins may not appease the shadows in their own way.
There might be stories from whenever he was on the boat, though.
It
So
might.
maybe the shadows.
But if the
could
sacrifice is still being made, as even when we were learning the stories, as we had not yet found all the journals, so long as the sacrifice is there, the nature of the story is less important than the intent.
I feel like some of those creatures will disturb the darkness and the shadows.
They might. They might. But there are many things to keep an eye upon. So your cousin ran off.
Yeah, maybe you can go into the tunnel.
I might be able to.
It's over here.
Back
I
here?
don't know where I don't know where the tunnel goes to.
Oh, that is cold. I see them.
Oh.
Oh, I see them. Do you have? Yes. Do you have your?
I have some berries.
You have some berries. I know at times you had a parental leash that you would use.
I did, and then I lost them because I lost it.
I do not think your cousin likes me as much as they do you. I will try the berries.
They don't like me either.
I will try the berries, but I do not think it will bring them back.
What if you tried scaring them back?
Possibly. That might work. It might not, given the situation they're in. But we shall see.
Mm-hmm.
Aha, they all on their way back, friend Fire.
Yay! I shot back away.
Just
from
be
the
prepared.
The door is locked. Oh.
And here they are.
Oh, there they are! Yeah, I need to... Do we have any blocks to cover up that tunnel for now? I need to get Captain Term to make it where they can't get in the tunnel.
I can fill it with
think
that for
the
the
little-
time. The little
'Cause I
one?
think the mysterious one keeps coming around in that tunnel, but I'm not sure if Fox... Because Fox kept getting out through there.
Hmm.
I mean, I can... Ooh. I have an idea, but that's for later. The berries
If
sure
we could
do
make it.
best, though.
That is fortuitous.
Maybe one of the books may have something. Because he's not as small as you, but he's not as tall as me.
Well, let us see. I shall check and consult the tomes.
I'm going to go see Captain can help with tunnel.
Oh, the cave certainly is looking wondrous today. Oh, what secrets do we have? Because they are not as tall as me. Or they are taller than me. Because the tunnels are several. It is a whole rim larger than me. Than what I need to traverse. So they may be a member of my kin. But of this I am not sure. There are many things still to check. Oh, the descent is always the most treacherous. Alright. I'm curious about our new friends. Time to do some investigative journalism. Oh, oh, run by as they just did. That does make them the tail is longer than mine. So that could be something. But now the time for sneaking and investigating shall soon be at hand. Friend Rel was over there.
Ah, there you are. I was just looking for you.
We've been
Dress up.
finding some more tunnels left behind by the one.
Tunnels, I mean,
They have made some entrances into some abodes.
yeah. Probably makes sense how they're getting around so much. But I did want to talk to you about our deal of arrows for fish.
Of course.
But I have plenty of kinds of fish. You can follow me over to my market and I can show you what I have. Also, I do have a few questions about this shadow stuff. What do
Of
you-
course. I'm more than willing to answer any questions you have. Whether it be about the shadows, the entwining darkness, or the everlasting cycle and the wheel that weaves it.
How long has this been around?
I have found evidence of at least 3 weavings of the cycle. Perhaps there are more. The journals and books I have found are not always wholly intact when I find them.
I'm sorry, I got this. I didn't leave my door open, but it was open when I came in.
If I had to venture a guess, it would be the small one.
Hoping that vermin didn't steal any of my stock. I worked hard to get that. But
I hope the
it seems
actions do
like
not
3
impede
cycles.
your sight of all vermin.
Debatable. But you said 3 cycles. Could you
I found
how
evidence
long is a
from
cycle?
the readings that I have found. There is at least 3 cycles I am certain of that I can confirm. How many more beyond that, I do not know. As the pieces I have found are not wholly intact, the parchments are. The one time I found a book whose bindings were still together, it was in sad shape. Usually there are only parcels of fragments of the parchment that I can preserve. But from what I've been able to find in them and the people that it speaks of, there are at least 3 cycles I am certain of.
People that it speaks of. I'm sorry, I'm asking so many strange questions. It's just
When names
I
are referenced and people in town, and it's like,
hmm,
given that it is well known within even the documents that I find how the blessings of the darkness to bring one back should a dangerous situation occur, something happens that causes this to stop. People lose the blessing of the darkness, anger the shadows somehow, and then the cycle is started anew.
because I I was over on that side at one point. I don't remember how I got there. Term captain said he found me there, but I don't remember how I got there or why I was there. And I'm just trying to piece maybe why I was there. And since you lived there, I presume, for a long while, I assume you might have known
I've
something.
lived there as long as my memories serve me. But like most who are aged as fine wine, eventually you start to develop holes in your older memories.
I don't remember much before. I barely remember anything before that. But that was some years ago. So I just was wondering if something, but I'm sure it's nothing. Sure, it's just had a bad day and all.
It is possible. It is possible. And that small one keeps popping up everywhere.
I can show you what I have.
Of course. What wares do you
a lot.
have?
I have a lot of cod. I have some salmon, anchovies, bass, some tuna. The most stock I get is usually cod. I have plenty of that.
Because I am curious, because one of the blessings that was also granted to me by the shadows is that my baking has taken a turn for the better, as it were. And the blessing that I've been given imparts additional benefits to certain baked goods, and I'm curious to see what else it might apply to.
Mm, all I really sell is fish, like clams, shrimp, mostly anything on the board that I have.
I am more than willing to partake in trade and see if the blessing carries over to these meals prepared from these as well. All praise the echoes. If not, then so be it. It'll just be another area
By
where
all means.
my
I mean, I don't get many sales often, usually besides Term and Zach eating food, but
understandable. It is what it is. Trade has never been flourishing in these small regions. We get by with what we can.
how about for the arrows that you gave me previously? I can give you some fish in return. There you go. I have plenty, so
Oh, there is no need
Okay.
for that. Let me trade for you at least. As is, I only had was three standard arrows and one that was of that special variety Zach mentioned that I obtained. So I can take no more than 4 at the most. It must be equitable.
well, I certainly have plenty to go around.
There are a great many things that can be done. I will, of course, do my best to obtain more arrows, but as you've seen, the reach of my arm is not the longest. But I will do what I can to aid in this development.
You go.
And what shop might... Oh, is this the captain's shop?
Yes, that's his shop.
I see.
He sells all sorts of small trinkets and such.
Ooh, Daddy Kezrin.
I see. He is quite talented indeed at...
I have one of these lighthouses in my house.
Oh, do you?
Quite beautiful to look at.
Is there a light in there as well?
I don't believe so. It's just a model. It doesn't really light up or anything.
Ah,
It's far too small to put something as tiny as a little light in there.
understandable. Although, if it were possible, that would be quite fascinating to see.
It'd certainly be fascinating. I know
And
he
such a
loves to
skilled artisan
make
as
his-
well. It is truly amazing.
As he would say, all is possible with enough time, but
With enough time and shadows willing.
I know he is open for people commissioning him for things, like handmade projects.
Oh, but I would have
So
to
I
see
assume
what I
if
could
you-
do in trade. I must have something that I could offer in return.
Well, usually he trades for small trinkets or more materials to build.
That is something we will have to discuss next time I can see the captain.
Yes, I believe he's resting right now. It was certainly a lot today.
Oh, I understand there was a lot. And I do apologize for my parishioners imposing themselves upon you as they did.
It's alright. I'm not used to newcomers. As far as I remember, it's always been me, Turn, and Black. But not many other people until you three came along. And then that little vermin.
They are making a habit of making themselves a nuisance. But that does not mean that they are to be hunted.
Well, if they steal my food, that's theft. And I don't
If
take kindly to people
did they
stealing my
though?
product.
Was any of your product missing?
Well,
You
they
checked your
stole
inventory.
They stole one of Term's items, so I have no doubt they would steal one of mine, considering mine is food. And most
But
wild animals like food.
not all food can be consumed by all people.
True.
And there are many
But I'm not
extensive notes of
making
this in the
things.
journals.
I don't want that thing near my shop. Or my house.
understand the sentiment you have about that. One's home is often referred to as one's bastion. If you cannot be safe there, or in control there, where can one be in control?
It's fair, I assume.
Did you have other questions of the shadows?
Not that I can think of at the moment, no. Thank you for answering the questions, though.
Of course, I am always willing to answer any questions you might have.
But I should probably go put my things away and head off for the night then.
And feel no need to partake if you do not want to, but should you want to,
I
the option
apologize,
is there.
I don't think I can eat this.
Oh,
I'm only able to digest meat. I apologize.
I see. I will bring something another day then.
There's no need for that.
Oh, another cousin of Fire Song.
I see these around a lot by the woods. They just seem to run around and...
They are quite carefree spirits.
Yes. I don't like those who steal.
But as with a child cannot be wholly held accountable for their actions, as they do not know right from wrong. For these ones over here, can they truly be held accountable for grabbing the things that they do if they do not have the knowledge of what they should and should not do?
That is fair, I assume. But
You cannot judge a fish's climbing ability as you would a monkey's, nor can you judge a monkey by how well it can swim, nor can you judge a child as an adult.
I'm not judging it as an adult, and I'm judging it as an animal.
It is a cautious
Who prefers
creature.
to steal?
Most people I have known have at one point or another had itchy fingers, as it were.
I assume I'm no different according to you.
I have not known you long enough to say, but I hope that over time we can get to know each other to that point.
That's a possibility. But I should probably head home. I have to put this on my wall and figure out whatever it is. Tom gave it to me, and I'm not sure what it is.
Oh? Well, may you have safe journeys home.
You too.
Question is, the captain has returned to sleep. They're returning to their abode, and the creature is following them. Would I be able to get close enough to see where it goes? Will it notice me? This is the question. Will I be seen? Will I be noticed? Only Shadow knows. The small one does have a penchant for curiosity, and if they are not careful, it will land them in trouble with many people. But if they are young and do not know better, it is my duty to guide them and teach them. Especially being of one of my kin. Very lofty little one. Oh, I've lost sight of them, but I'm sure we will have chances to meet again. Well, that can be... We can investigate that another time. We must check the copper on the tunnels. Hmm. They jumped into the water, but I do not see them climb the stream, nor do I see them down the stream. If they have a tunnel in the water, I wouldn't... Well, that's something I will not be able to explore for some time. But there are many things still to check. But we do need to return to the Bethel and see what else has been done down there. Because if they have, as Fred Firesong fears, been tampering with the books, this could be detrimental to all. And I must prepare for my week of the cleanings to ensure that the shadow's ire does not cross the copper. The ancients did well when they built this stairwell, but if only there were an easier way for my aging legs to make this journey. It would aid things greatly. But we still have the previous right here. Does not look like they have been disturbed. My friend Fire was asking about over in this direction. From my last sojourn, as I recall, there was quite a vast area over here to be checked. But those who wish ill upon the shadows are here as well. My journey will need to be taken together. But should I take one of my parishioners or should I see if one of our neighbors are willing to explore with us on that? Somebody has been spinning the books. And we are missing that one. Oh. It seems someone has angered them. And now we need to repair the entranceway as done. Need to put that back in. At least the hymns were not lost. Looks like only a few on this side. Lost as well, and a light. That we can regain. A light lost is no harm done. Although that is quite painful. Oh, laugh all you want. It will not get you what you want. The shadows will not be vanquished. Well, where did that one run off to? Wait, there they are. Thank you, small friend. We should store the rest of this. And we should return to the surface as well. So we do need to explore that area over there and ensure that the enemies of Shadow do not anger it or cause too much strife over there. But how easily we'll be able to do this to appease is another matter. And we need to reset up the communal farms. As at this point, it does not look like this endless winter is going to draw to a close anytime soon. And the voice of the shadow had nothing to say on such matters. So we must make adjustments. Ah, but where to grow? That's the question. I suppose rest shall not come to me this night either. Then we shall go out and gather supplies then. But where to go? I'm inclined to go see the new upspring of force we have over there. It's across the river alone. At night, no less. Oh, how I miss my good hand. But sacrifices must be made. Oh, that was a close one. Almost fell in there. Oh, tarnations. Of course, there just had to be a pool of water below. And we'll need to gather supplies for arrows for our new friend as well. Especially if we want to ask them to join us. If we are to ask them to join us into the new cavings, we will need to offer something in return. We cannot count on people's good natures to always win out. We must have something to offer. Now to return and begin setting up the communal farms. We could put it up by the market. Everyone has access to that. I don't want to put it out on the road because there's too many variables there, particularly with the increased enemies of shadows. Too many of them will cause problems, makes we cannot safely farm. We wanted somewhere that is well enough lit, yet far enough removed to not be an impediment to everyday travel. Although Captain Term crashing a ship into the side of the ice cap like that was... I can only imagine how they landed such a vessel. Out here. That would be quite fortuitous indeed. We are going to need a way to is that no? If we do have some ice stored below that we could bring up here, and with our blessing we can melt. That would allow a source of water for this farmland. Now, what else to... what's it? The frozen winter that we're in. The cows have been so rare in the vicinity. But for Franzak, we must find some. It was their trial that they put to the community. We must solve it. Or else what will they think of the Bethel? We cannot have such a poor first impression. What will my predecessor think? What will Kareem think? Captain Term seems like they may be willing enough to listen. Kareem, I'm unsure. Their past history. They lived over here in the past, but I have no recollection of them. But this was from before. Would this have been before I ventured from the cave? When I was still too startled by my own shadow to do anything. Not understanding, not knowing what was happening. Or was it before I'd even been chosen by the shadow? The journals, I will have to confer. So many questions have been raised, and yet still the darkness does not speak to me anymore. Why has it remained silent for so long? We must make lights before we venture forth again. Shadows have never gone so long without speaking to me. Cannot let the others know that My sojourn was unsuccessful. Has it chosen a new voice? So we must find and guide them. To wander their way through these discoveries alone would be challenging for any. Even with proper guidance. Oh. But what does it mean? Probably we've got pebbles. Arrows for our arrows we can do. It'll be time consuming and arduous to do. But that is a solution we were posed which we can solve. This I know. The cows, though. The cows. And fire did do an admirable job keeping things cleaned and caretaking the barrier in my absence. The entrance there. How to get in? Can't let the shadow continue to spread from within. Ah, it looks like the water does go within. Just need to find the right area. Looks like it comes from... Does it come from here? Looks like it might. Ah, it will be a painful journey. If that is what is needed, then that is what we will do. But these old bones grow tired. Time for us to return to our bed. Perhaps the shadows will speak to us tonight. Until morrow's. May the shadows take and guide me. Alright. Well, we're done. Thank you all so much for stopping on by. Thank you all so much for the raids from Mystery and from Jelly. Thank you all so much for the follows and for making sure I was doing my self-care. But let me see who all I got on that I can send us on over to after the lore, so we can get things taken care of. Probably toggle that filter off. I'll probably keep doing this filter during lore streams in the future just to closer match my character's skin, but I'm excited. Oh, we've got things to do. But let's go ahead and get our Battle Royale. Oh, no, that's right. I didn't turn avatars on for this stream. I will in the future, though. Future lore streams will still have avatars, but this first one did not because I wanted to test some other stuff out. Let's see, who do I got on? I mean, relics. Fine. You know what? If you guys will stick around, I'll do a battle royale for you while we switch to the credit scene, okay? Because you guys stuck around. You'll get a battle royale. Mage do be live, and Mage is a good fit for After Lore vibes. Particularly with what they're playing. Because Link to the Past is always good, but also I've got Key Online. I haven't gotten to raid Key in quite a while. Not since May, actually. So, I'll do Battle Royale and a 1-minute poll on where we're going for the raid that you guys can decide on. All right, you got your 1-minute poll going, and you got your Battle Royale going. And let's switch over to credit scene. Well, let's go ahead and get those raid messages up. Feel free to copy either one if you'd like. If you want the one with the channel raid emote, that's just 80 channel points down below to unlock. And once again, a big thank you for everybody on the server. It was a lot of fun. Do make sure that if you're not following them, you do so. Everybody's working very hard on this, and they deserve all the loves. Oh, we're down to the last 4. Looks like Elemental 1 poll, so let's go ahead and get that raid set up. Now, who's gonna win? Oh, how unfortunate, Term, you didn't win. But congratulations. Vashil Rajan. We are going to be raiding on over to Elemental.